Volunteers TV show, inspiring change through action. Hello viewers, good evening and welcome once again to Volunteers TV show here on Channel One TV. Very privileged today to have a very experienced, astute civil society activist, Mr. Ibrahim Tanko Amidu, the Executive Director of Star Ghana Foundation. I know that is not new to you at all. Mr. Ibrahim Tanko, welcome to Volunteers TV show.
Thank you very much.
We are very privileged to have you today.
My pleasure.
And I want us to start with some acronym I love so much about you.
Yeah.
3 C's plus L.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Convene, catalyze,
Yes.
coordinate,
Yes.
and learn.
Yes.
Now, what is this about? And what about this acronym?
All right. So, thank you very much. My privilege to be with you. Star Ghana has existed since 2010. It started as a program that was set up by the donors to manage their support to civil society and to governance institutions. So we were more like a mechanism into which the USAID, the British through DFID, as it was then known, the European Union and the Danish government channeled their development funding. So for 10 years, we existed as a program set up by donors. As we're getting to the end of the 10th year or the second phase of funding, we realized that of course the donors were going to exit. And then after the exit, what happens? You know, Star Ghana would then go the way of all the other previous donor mechanisms and programs. And therefore, we decided, or the leadership of the program, which was then headed by Professor Kilapa Sawyer, that we would take over the program and run it as a Ghanaian organization, look for our own funding and drive our own agenda. So we build on the lessons from the program, the donor period, but chart a new course that is more focused on what Ghanaian organizations and the Ghanaian states and society needs. And so that gave birth to the Star Ghana Foundation. Now, in giving birth to the Star Ghana Foundation, we said we were going to learn from what worked well and what didn't work well to inform how we would work as a foundation. And one of the things that we realized worked very well for us as during the program period was the fact that development doesn't just happen. Development needs coordinated approaches. Right. Development doesn't happen by telling people what they're supposed to do. Sustainable development starts with people articulating what their issues are, how they want to go about it, and then seeing how development also happens when you bring people together to discuss then what do we do. But it also requires support and accompaniment, which is how we got to the acronym of the 3 C's and L. That first, you need, this first C stands for convening.
Convene, that's right.
You need to bring people together to talk in their individual groups and as multi-stakeholder groups. So if it's something that concerns women, of course you can start with women. But you can't solve women's problems by just talking to women alone. You can help solve women's problems by bringing women, chiefs, politicians, assemblies, etc. together.
Key stakeholders together.
So that is the convening.
That's right.
Convening stakeholder dialogues. Now, if you convene, we talk and talk and talk without action, what happens? And so the second C stands for catalyzing. How do we move from talking to action? How do we catalyze? So we catalyze through giving grants. We catalyze through capacity strengthening. We catalyze through even brokering relationships. Have you spoken to this person? Or there's this other organization that is also doing something similar. I would link you. So the second stage is catalyzing, helping to move from the dialogue, the conversations to action. But then we also know that as we act, there are so many other people who are also acting. There are so many others who are also doing similar things, or complementary things, that we can be more effective. We can use our money better. The Americans say you can get a better bang for your dollar by facilitating coordination. So that is the third C.
That's right. The coordination.
The coordination.
I know in the civil society space, there is no competition. There is rather collaboration.
Exactly.
How are you able to collaborate with other organizations in championing the cause of Star Ghana Foundation?
Well, we collaborate with others not to champion the cause of Star Ghana Foundation, but to champion the cause of development in Ghana, for inclusive development. Because as soon as we start with championing the cause of Star Ghana Foundation, then people are saying, oh, we are coming to help you do your work. Oh, you went and took money and then you want us to do that. But when we place our common objective at the center, then we can all see, so we want to promote volunteerism in Ghana. Then we say, okay, ours is that we give grants to local organizations. Maybe yours is that you support individuals. Maybe another organization is working with government on the policy framework. So we are collaborating not about Star Ghana's agenda, but our common agenda of promoting volunteerism.
That's right. Volunteerism
and the development of the country. Yes,
exactly. What it should be. I know there is a special project you are currently undertaking in Koforidua.
Yes.
Can you please share some light with us on that?
Okay, so officially the project is called the Action for Youth Development, but we popularly call it the KOFCROM, initiative.
Okay.
It's targeted at young people, specifically how we strengthen young people's voices and actions in municipal development. How we make sure that, or help to make sure that the municipality responds to the issues and the needs of young people. So we are working with a number of youth organizations, but we're also working with the municipal assembly to see how we can ensure that Koforidua or the municipality is fit for young people. And so what we do is to strengthen capacities of young people's organizations, to give grants for them to test ways of doing things, but also to support the assembly and other duty bearers to be able to respond to young people's actions and voices. So it is strengthening the demand side, strengthening the supply side, and then bringing them together to see how they can.
I know there are two different municipalities within Koforidua. The New Dwabin North and New Dwabin South, I guess.
Yes.
Which of them are you piloting this in?
I think it's New Dwabin South, New Dwabin South, yes. But we are working towards expanding it to cover the whole of the New Dwabin, both North and then South. Yeah.
Young people have a lot of issues, a lot of challenges. Young people also in today's world, due to ICT and research, they are able to identify a number of challenges within their scope. Reaching out to leadership sometimes becomes quite challenging, and I'm very sure that is why you are bringing this up. So through this project, we've been able to engage the leadership of this municipality to have an open door policy, especially for young people within their catchment area, so they can approach them with their issues and also look at how they can resolve those challenges with the young people together. And also, one I want to ask quickly and get your response on this. When the young people are in need or they are in expectation of something, and those expectations are not met as and when they need them, then they begin to devise different strategies to get what they want. That is what sometimes brings violence. Have you encountered anything of the sort within this pilot period of the project?
All right. So let me start with the second question. Fortunately, we haven't encountered that. And it's partly because of the approach that we start with the youth at the center. The project is about young people. So we have to center their voices, we have to center their issues, and we have to center what they want to do. So we are facilitating the achievements, the attainment, the recognition of what they want to do and how they want to do it. So they know that they are in the driving seat. We are facilitators. And I think that has led to a very high level of ownership of what is happening. We've also engaged with not just the assembly, but also the traditional authorities, also the service providers, who are those providing education, who are those providing health,
Okay.
and to work with them. Because responding to the youth, for me, is not an option. It is an imperative. There's nothing that you can do about it. It's just like what they say, change will come. Whether it is positive change or negative change, it's how you engage with the change process. You know, and so we have made them aware, and they are also aware that the youth are not just the leaders of tomorrow. The youth are today and tomorrow. We are just yesterday. We are carryovers from yesterday, so to speak. And so it is in everybody's interest to see how we harness that potential, that energy, you know, to move forward. And so we've had extremely good responses from.
As a veteran in this space, the civil society space, I want us to delve a bit deeper into something very critical on volunteerism.
Yeah.
You travel across the globe and you see that in many countries, volunteerism is well structured. Institutions that are responsible for volunteerism, plans for volunteerism, to the extent that in some of these countries, I will cite a clear example such as UK and Australia. At the end of the year, they are able to quantify the role of volunteerism in national development. And they're even able to tell, should there not be volunteerism that year, how much the state would have spent on some of the sectors, such as health, education, environment, and the likes. We don't have such a thing in Ghana. How soon can we structure volunteerism in Ghana? And how do we get policies to drive volunteerism in Ghana?
Okay. Thank you very much. And I totally agree with your premise, the importance of volunteerism and how others, through volunteerism, have been able to drive development. How soon? Well, policy processes are quite complex. So you need to engage at various levels. And Star Ghana has placed this at the center of the work that we do. We are a center for promotion of active citizenship. Volunteerism is a very key component of active citizenship. So we are talking to the policymakers, we are talking to other civil society organizations, so that together we can look at how to drive that. Part of volunteerism is also philanthropy. They recently held a Ghana Civil Society Forum in June. Her Excellency, the Vice President, came and made a commitment that government would work towards the passage of the not-for-profit organizations bill and also a volunteerism policy. So we'll keep on pushing. We need everybody's hand on deck so that we push it. Because, you know, you don't need to go to the UK or Australia to look at what difference volunteerism can make. I grew up at a time when volunteerism was at the center of what we did in this country. And so many people do not know that even the National Service Scheme was suggested and was, you know, pushed for by students. Yes. As a way of giving back. That those who have heard of the Dawinya irrigation projects, or Cheko, maybe yes, the youth of today may not have heard. But students were the ones who were in the forefront.
Was it the time of the Volu time?
Volu, the Achampons time, etc. You know. But this worked because first, there was a structure to support it. So you had Volu, you had the, what do you call it, vacation work camps, the state organized. But you also had civic engagement that we did not leave it to the youth to decide, oh, we'll do volunteerism or not. But it was part of the teaching of civic awareness, civic engagement. If you don't do that, it won't happen. Just very quickly, I went to Switzerland and we were at a bus station waiting for whatever. And we saw children, some as young as 5 years, 5, 4, etc., with some adults with them. And they were walking around, they said they were picking rubbish. I didn't even see any rubbish over there. And they said every year they do it. From the youngest, so they have different age groups. So by the time they become young adults, it is part of their DNA.
That's right.
But what do we do here? Vacation, what do we do for the youth? What do we support them to do? You know. So I think, yes, it's the way to go. Yeah.
Yes. All of this boils down to policy.
Yes.
Because there are a number of students who, during vacation, would love to spend their quality time on something more profitable instead of just walking about not doing anything. But we don't have clear policies with private sector so that these students can be absorbed during that vacation period for them to make very, very profitable use of their time.
Yes.
Are you in the position to share with us some of the policy directions in the proposed policy that you have?
Yeah, I think I can just share maybe good practices.
That's right. That's right.
One is to create an enabling environment. The state is not supposed to do everything. The state is supposed to create the incentives for others to do things. So if MTN Foundation wants to promote volunteerism through making whatever available for students to go and teach, during the vacations, what incentives are there for MTN Foundation to do that, for example? If your organization, a youth group, want to do this, what is there? So I think the first is to create the incentives so that the state only has to set up the enabling environments and others will populate it. If the state wants to do it, it will not be able to, because look at the number of young people in this state. But not just, we're just talking about young people. How about retirees? People with enormous, extensive experiences. The person has retired at 60, just sitting at home. We can tap into that. Caregiving, supports to schools, health facilities, etc. So it's just mobilizing the whole citizenry. So I think one is looking beyond young people, making it a holistic thing. The second, providing incentives for those who want to do it so that they are encouraged to do that. The third is recognition. How about, we have the annual Ghana, the state awards, the state, this thing. Instead of using this to award politicians and ministers and etc., as has been the case, why don't we look at, citizens who are giving of their time and this thing? I know Joy FM does that with the impact makers. That's right. Every year.
MTN so that the heroes of change.
Exactly. So let's recognize, create, avenues to recognize them and then do
they'll be able to do more. So, Chief, I know that there is one incentive that we've all heard about in the country, which is tax rebate for companies that support corporate social responsibilities.
Yeah.
I know you have some knowledge of this. How does this work in Ghana?
Okay. It's virtually non-existent in Ghana. And it is one of the things that we are pushing in terms of the enabling environment. Discussions have been held with governments, discussions have been held with the Ghana Revenue Authority and others to see how we can add that to the menu of incentives for corporate organizations, business enterprises that wants to, step in, support, with funds, with technical expertise, etc., for us to mobilize the talents and the expertise of the citizens of this country. That's one. The second is also to mobilize resources, the other aspect of philanthropy. We've talked about Ghana Beyond Aid, but we've also recognized what is now happening globally, starting with the Americans who, abolished USAID and overnight just boom, cancelled development assistance, and which has spread to other European countries. That how do we begin to mobilize resources locally through philanthropy and etc. And it's by giving incentives. If you go and look at the American philanthropy sector, the amount of money that they mobilize annually to support, giving. Even a lot of the foundations that support us here, the Hewlett Foundation, the Butner Foundation, the Ford Foundation, they are all from private giving.
That's right.
For development purposes. And we can do it. I know it is a bit more advanced in Nigeria than in Ghana, partly for cultural reasons. Nigeria, excuse me to say, they like show. So if you are a wealthy person, you want to show. So you give, you establish, so you have the Elumelu Foundation, and also, I'm not saying that they are doing it because of show, but it's partly. But Ghana, they say, I don't want people to think that I'm boasting. If I do it, maybe my village people will come after me, etc. But I think also that we are not incentivizing. There are no rebates. So how do we provide these incentives for private sector to step in? Government cannot do it alone.
I believe we have, the bodies such as the Association of Ghana Industries. Yeah. We have the Ghana Chamber of Commerce Industries. Yeah. There are a number of, we have the GUTA and all of those where private sector is being driven through these associations or these groupings. Yeah. How do we connect civil society to these bodies so that we can be able to work with them to reach out to their member organizations or member companies?
Yeah. We've been having those conversations in Star Ghana. Actually, when we were setting up the foundation, we held meetings with GUTA, with AGI, to say, look, we want to work with you. Perhaps, because of who you are and the way business operates in Ghana, AGI will not be able to come out openly and fight corruption. But AGI can work hand in hand with civil society that we can then articulate, the issues.
Precisely.
AGI can work with the media so that they won't come and say company A is the one funding this work.
Exactly.
But it's just Ghana Association of Industries, So to almost reconstruct the pooled fund, the basket of funds that Star Ghana had from the donors. But this time the basket of funds will come from private sector. So AGI, whoever, put your money in that basket. We'll administer it on your behalf and use it to address the challenges to, your profitability.
Because at the end of it all, the result that you seek to achieve.
Exactly. And we said, look, the track record is there. Yeah. As the Star Ghana program, we managed over $75 million of donor funds. We supported over 170 organizations across it. We've been audited from the angels through to Lucifer, and not $1 or one single was missing. So we said your money is safe. Let's just put it together and use it to support these causes. It's still ongoing.
Can you walk us through some of the projects Star Ghana is currently undertaking or implementing?
Okay. So briefly, we have 4 areas around which our projects are. Listen. So we have the peace and security, which is primarily in the north, and we are looking at work around building peace, preventing conflicts. We've heard of violent extremism from the Sahel, etc. So we have a number of projects in the north working on that. We have the projects on governance.
Okay.
So the elections, looking at good governance, etc. We have a number of projects. We have projects around youth development, gender, youth, inclusion, persons with disabilities. We have a number of projects around that. And we have the one around civil society strengthening. How do we help to strengthen civil society organizations as vehicles for sustainable and inclusive development?
Interesting.
So those are the categories of projects that we're implementing.
Okay. We see a lot of foreign volunteers from Japan, from UK, you see others from America, just name them. They leave the comforts of their countries and come to Ghana. And when they come, You don't even see much of them in the cities. They go to the remotest villages to go and volunteer. What do you think inspires these volunteers to do what they do? And how can we instill that into our citizens?
There are a number of factors. One is deliberate state policy. Americans, Germans, British, Japanese, they use volunteerism first to train their citizens. So in the days when you had VSO, even Peace Corps, and you look at the American or British Foreign Service, most of them were past Peace Corps volunteers or VSO volunteers. So they use that as a very deliberate strategy. You know, the second aspect of their volunteerism is that, you know, they have this thing about volunteerism. If you are well off, you help the less well off people, and etc. And then people also, of course, have leisure time and excess income that they want to spend. So part of it is altruistic. Other parts of it are just deliberate state policies that, you know, but we don't see it that way. I mean, volunteerism exists. It's part of our cultural fabric.
That's right. That's right.
Ours is not the vertical one. I'm well-to-do, so I'm going to
the less privileged.
The less privileged. Ours is both vertical but also horizontal. We are living in a community. It's happening. I've seen that there's a problem in your house. I come and support you. There's a funeral. We come and then go and fetch water for him. Go and do the etc. So there's the first part of trying to formalize, recognize, and formalize what already exists. Then there's the second part of the states saying that this is a tool for development.
That's right.
The majority of our citizens are young people. We say the devil finds work for idle hands. How do we mobilize them? How do we tap into them? We are living longer, so you now have a cohort of retirees who are still active, who are still healthy. How do we tap into that? Because we're not able to get enough nurses, enough doctors into all the rural areas of this country.
What will be your final words to my viewers out there who are watching Mr. Ibrahim Tanko Amidu, the Executive Director of Star Ghana Foundation?
First, I think we all have a duty to this country to contribute to its development. We can contribute through our resources, we can contribute through our time, we can contribute through our skills, but we must contribute. It's not an option, it's a requirement. You know, the second is that beyond politics, we are Ghanaians, and that we need to look beyond politics and to see how we can make common cause with each other to address the common issues, the common problems that don't know NDC, MPP, PNC, etc., but the common problems that know poor people and young people and children and affect them most. That if we contribute, if we step in as active citizens, we'll make Ghana a better place for us. And then people will no longer refer to our country as shitholes. We can make Ghana the heaven that we want to see.
That's right. Viewers, we've been talking to Mr. Ibrahim Tanko Amidu, the Executive Director of Star Ghana Foundation. It's been a great discussion all about how to regulate volunteerism, active citizenship, love for nation, and move this nation forward beyond political parties and political colors. It's been a great discussion, and we want to thank you very much for making time with us on Volunteers TV show. Viewers, see you same time next week. Bye for now. Volunteers TV show, inspiring change through action.